Hey everybody, I'm Kurt. This is AC. You are the Youth Ministry Nation. Let's talk youth ministry.
Go.
What's up?
How are you, man?
Good to see you. As always, my good friend, AC.
We just got back.
We did. We went
great
to
trip.
a week. Well, not a full week, but almost.
ATL.
The ATL, the Dirty South.
Atlanta.
I like to call it the Dirty South. I just coined that a few years ago. I noticed back in the day that there was a little East Coast, West Coast feud amongst some of our hip-hop people. So as a West Coaster, I said, man, that Dirty South. And it caught on like wildfire.
Yeah.
It just caught on.
Yeah, that's
I never told anybody.
That's exactly
that's how it happened. We were at the Orange Conference.
Yes.
7,000 other children's and youth workers. Crazy. This is weird. Orange wouldn't feel this way because they're in the business of having a big conference.
Yeah.
I would say it was almost too big.
It was large. It was almost a very... the production was great, but because it was so big, it felt like concert.
Yeah,
like
it was
every
crazy.
single night.
And if you got lost from your party, you couldn't find them. If you didn't get to your workshop on time, you couldn't get in. Amazing conference, which leads me to this. As great as Orange is, and it is fantastic, I'm super excited about Simply Youth Ministry. They're doing their one-day conferences coming up next fall. So coming soon. Yeah. Coming soon to a city near you. I think there's 6 different locations.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're going to be hosting one here at Saddleback, just because they needed a place for their kind of their westest coast venue. So if you have gone to the Simply Youth Ministry Conference in the past and you wondered where have they been, they're taking a little break. They took a break this year, and they're coming in strong in the fall with 6 different. Go to the Simply Youth Ministry website. Check out the one-day conference. It's going to be awesome because this little video blog, this little podcast is on the More Than Dodgeball website. Yeah. Our good friends, Simply Youth Ministry.
Yes.
Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Do I look thinner? Come on.
So on the show, no.
I've been on an official. I've been on a diet for 2 days. I weighed more this morning than I did yesterday for some reason.
I've been on a diet. How do I look?
Cole assures me that I will fluctuate even though I'm losing weight. Yeah. I was the heaviest I've ever been the other day. Yeah. So I decided it was time to take things seriously.
That's cool, man. Are you doing a workout, push-ups?
Oh, that's to come later.
Yeah.
Not too much at once.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. Oh, dude.
So is it like you're taking steps, you're drinking water now?
Drinking water, cutting out the bread.
Yeah. Bread is a huge.
Bread's massive.
Wow. You don't know how much you actually eat it until you remove it, and you're like, holy smokes.
You know my son Cole. I mean, he's kind of a physical specimen these days. But he's all into it. Like, he's studying
serious about it.
So he's helping me figure it out.
That's
and the first thing he said was,
gotta cut the bread.
You gotta cut. What is it? There's carbs. There's 2 different types of carbs. Yeah. The bread, the potatoes, the chips, all that stuff.
Did he talk about
carbs.
sugar?
Yeah, he talked about sugar.
Yeah.
You know, good sugar, bad sugar, all that good stuff. Yeah. Protein, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
My
just tell me what to do.
Well, just eat less. Eat less candy. Right. Basically, drink less soda.
Oh, smokes.
Eat less ice cream at night.
That's true.
Yeah, so.
Anything after 8 is bad.
Unless it's almonds or grapes.
Or
blueberries, power foods, right?
Unless it falls under something that you don't even know.
Superfoods.
After you eat it, you don't even feel like you ate anything.
That's fantastic. Like cotton candy. It's light and fluffy, and it barely fills me up at all.
Everybody, just stretch your hand.
Do you know how much cotton candy I have to eat before I feel full? It's a perfect health. It's a perfect diet food. No. Because you can eat it and not get full. Okay.
Let's get into it.
All right, what are we talking about? We got an email.
We have an email.
Okay.
But I don't think because my phone is recording, so I just have to kind of like.
We got to figure that out because.
Yeah, normally I shoot it to you and then you read it, but it is what it is. But today we're going to talk a little bit about strategy. Okay. We had a question from one of our viewers, and his question was on what are some elements of service that he could do for his students before service or after service to get them kind of engaged, so to speak. So it's more.
Does it sound like he wants them to get there earlier and stick around longer, kind of thing?
Kind of like, is he missing something in the beginning to get them connected? Yep. Is he missing something at the end that he could do that could kind of like build some community?
Let's start with before service first, and you take it, and then I'll add my
I would say, I think it's a great question to ask in terms of what your ministry looks like, how your students are, in terms of does big church run parallel? You know, what does that look like?
I'm making my arms look big, like I'm dieting.
Guns out, sons not out right now.
Sorry.
But
keep going.
So I would say first you need to know why. Like, why do you want to add these elements? And because it can be a lot of work, it can be extra resources that you have to put into it and money, and you want to make sure that you're doing it for a very strategic reason. It's not a bad thing. It's just in everything that you do, you want to be, you know, strategic in it. And so just to feel like, man, students get here and they need something to do, or students are, you know, here afterwards, so let's get them busy or something like that. That may not be, you know, in terms of it may be great for the beginning because you're like, oh, we got this great thing going. But if there's no real strategic plan in place and understanding of what's going on, it could fade fast. Mm-hmm. Students can get bored. Mm-hmm. And you could lose sight of the mission that you started out to do. And, you know, it can just fall through the cracks. And then they're like, whatever happened to that? And you're like, well, I don't know. Most of the time, it's not all the time, but most of the time it's that foundation piece. It's the strategic moment that you go, oh, this is why we do this. I would say for the pre-service, we've never really done anything before other than a 5-minute countdown, and then we're right into service.
Right, because kids are trickling in.
Yeah, they're coming.
If it's midweek in some youth groups' case, right? Their large group program is midweek. They're coming in from sports practice. They're coming in from maybe working part-time after school. They're coming in from doing homework. They're trickling in. Yeah. If it's junior hires, they're coming in mom and dad's car who had to give them a ride. Mm-hmm. So it's a trickle in. If it's Sunday, it's still a trickle in. Yeah. They're rolling out of bed. They're slow to get out of the shower, and so they're always trickling in, which is why we've probably never had a real super strategic pre-service strategy. Yeah. Right? I mean, the only thing I think that we have done better at times, we're probably not great at it now, and when we've been good at it, we notice it, is we have gone through seasons where we really make a strong effort to say to our teams, our youth teams and leaders and everybody that's running the program, hey, let's try to have sound checks done, walkthroughs done, PowerPoint slides edited. Let's try to have all that done 10 minutes before anybody shows up. That way, when they do start to trickle in, we're game on, right? So there's not anything formal happening pre-service other than we are totally engaged, totally ready to start ministering way before service starts, because we're ready to love on kids as soon as the first one walks through the door, which, when we've done it well, I think we totally.
Oh yeah. I mean,
because we know what's like normally. We're running around
like every other youth group. It's like, hey, it's time to go. Oh, we got to do this. We got to do this. Let's do that. And so coming in and going, hey, let's make sure that we are free to connect and be there. Whether we have donuts out or whether we put something out, let's be ready for those 5 minutes. So normally we do 5 minutes where it's more like a leader blitz. Right. We make sure every student that walks in the door is high five. We make sure during that 5 minutes, the students that are sitting in the seats.
That's happening during the 5-minute countdown.
5-minute countdown.
So you guys are like game on.
Yeah, students are sitting in their seats, and we are mowing. We call it mowing the crowd, where our leaders are just intentionally going to students, hey, how are you? What's your name? What school you go to? We're being a little bit more intentional in that set. And we give ourselves that 5 minutes to do it. And it's been great.
We've got values that we try to have evident all the time. Real, relevant, relational, relaxed. Mm-hmm. Those are values we try to have evident at midweek, in small groups, on missions trips. Yeah. And one of the ways you express the value of relaxed is by not letting students see us when we're stressed. Yeah. So at the most stressed times of sound checks and the video isn't going to work and all that, if we can do all of that before a student walks in the building, so that when they walk in, they don't know that a minute ago we were anything but relaxed, right? But from the moment they come in, our value of relaxed is evident.
I've seen a huge difference, and I even feel a huge difference when I have a leader, because we place a leader, either it be me or a leader, right at the entranceway. So as soon as a student walk in, they see leaders right there. And the difference is just astonishing. How just students light up, and a leader is there to go, hey, welcome, right. And just meeting students and seeing students, and then afterwards I'm able to go, hey, how's service? What did you think about it? Yeah, in that relaxed form.
So before we move on to thoughts about after service, what I would suggest is the pre-service. Don't think of a program. You don't need to add some aspect to pre-service. Yeah, I would just view pre-service as a fantastic opportunity to minister and build relationships with kids.
Yeah, be ready.
Be ready. Be ready. Yeah. Just be prepared, so that when they start showing up, you can talk to them. How was your week? I'm so glad you're here. I missed you last week. What's God doing in your life? Who's your friend? You can do all that stuff. Yeah. Because the program that's going to start in 5 minutes or 25 minutes is dialed in and ready to go. Yeah, that's what I think about.
And if you haven't done a countdown, I think that's I mean you can really train and get your students programmed to be like, okay, 5 minutes, service is going to start. When I get there and I see that service is going to start, but it also gets you that time of 5 minutes, countdown is up. Let's go. Let's get out. Put that down. Let's mow the crowd.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. Okay, so that's one thought, or a couple thoughts about before service, after service.
Yes.
He's saying, what can we do after service that's more strategic? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the question behind that is, they're sprinting out the doors. Do we try to keep them around? Yeah. What do we do? How do we build community after service? Yeah. That's what I'm hearing in the question that he was asking.
Yeah. I think that's where another place where you need to be strategic. Are you trying to build community? So of course they come to service, they sit, listen to a message, they worship together, but you don't necessarily see them intermingling. And you want to create an environment where they feel like they can stay and kind of like mingle together. Or is it you're trying to capture those first timers?
Right.
Sometimes that's to me, that's a great place to do it after service. I don't think you can do it for too long.
Right.
Because, especially if you're trying to do it every single week, you can't do it for too long because, of course, parents are waiting and you don't want to create something extra for parents to go, oh, okay, now we have to sit and wait for this.
What you could do is, for instance, in junior high on our campuses, we have these things called grade groups where they're 8 minutes long, they're gender and grade specific, and they just break up before the message, who's here. It's where they take attendance, they make announcements. It's not small groups. It's 8 minutes of just connecting. A youth group you could do something like that. You could do the last 5 minutes of your program, break into some groups. Yeah. Here's one question to think about. Some groups will still be done right at 7 or right at 9 o'clock when youth group's over.
Yeah.
Others might stick around for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, what was meant to be 5 minutes is now 7, 8, 9 minutes, and you just have automatically created an opportunity for the kids who don't have to sprint off to be together a little bit, build some relationships. Yeah. The program's over, but we're still hanging out. It kind of makes it real natural. Yeah. Another thing that we've done with great success is we have started strategically adding events to the tail end of our weekend program.
Yeah.
What's been great about that is it's not an extra night out. So you guys would do dodgeball tournament on Friday night and then have to do church on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Now you just do dodgeball tournament at the end of the Saturday night service.
Yep.
More kids actually come to church. Yep. They stick around a long time. First-time visitors that come to the dodgeball tournament, oftentimes they'll come to church in addition to ahead of time just because, why not? Hey, let's go to church and then play dodgeball, whereas on Friday night that wasn't an option. Yep. We've had great success just attaching programs or attaching events to the tail end of our weekend. Don't want to do it every weekend, or else it loses its pop, right? Yeah. And it gets really tiring on us. Yeah. But we probably do it once a month, once every other month, maybe. Yeah. And sometimes it's a big event like dodgeball. Sometimes it's movie and a popcorn.
Yeah. And we're again pretty strategic. If it's an event that we're trying to evangelize and we're trying to expose students to our culture and our church, then that's how we'll promote it. Hey, bring your friends. Sometimes we'll do a worship night after the service. Well, of course, that's a fellowship type thing. Hey, after service, don't leave. The band is gonna do extended worship.
For those of you who might be interested in sticking around.
Those of you who might be interested in sticking around and worshiping God more, feel free to do so. So we're thinking very strategically about those things so that we know if we play some event and it yields huge prizes, we know we're going to get a crowd of everybody.
Right.
If we do a extended worship night, we know we won't get everybody. We'll get those students who are core to our ministry who want to be there. So we're not judging that event with another event that has different purpose.
Right.
And so,
well, I think you hit on the head. I mean, the whole strategy, purpose, I think this is a great example of, and it's not, most of us as youth pastors aren't great at this, but it's thinking strategically about every decision. Right? Because every decision we make has a cost, whether it's man hours or financial cost, asking more of our students. Every decision we make impacts, other areas of our ministry. And so I think one of the greatest things to do is every time you're feeling this tug or this desire to do something or change something, something's driving that question. Something's not right. Kids are coming too late, or they're not connected, or they sprint out of the heat. So I would always start by asking, what is the question we're trying to answer? What's the tension point we're feeling?
In the ministry.
So identify that. Well, we're feeling this tension that students leave right after church, and there's no fellowship. Okay, that's what. Now, how do we strategically address that? So we don't just invent things that may not even be fixing the problem that we're really feeling. Right?
Totally.
And if you can just kind of be strategic, and again, I think it's okay. There's all kinds of tension in youth ministry. I mean, there are all kinds of tension points, and you can't always fix every single one. There's no perfect youth ministry. We were out at North Point last weekend. It's as close to perfect as I've ever seen. It's as close to perfect. But they've got their tension points.
Oh, totally.
They've got stuff they want to fix, but they've just chosen not to.
Totally.
They've got areas of weakness, and
it's you prioritize. You go, hey, what's critical right now? For us, right now, critical is volunteers.
Right.
And so we have to prioritize other things that we may say.
We wish that wasn't the case.
I mean, other things that we say, hey, that needs a little love. That needs a little TLC.
Right.
But at the same time, we have to prioritize things that are most important and not stress about that. And that just comes with accepting that there's going to be tension in areas of your ministry.
If our youth ministry is a boat, right, and there's a couple holes in the boat, I don't like any of the holes in the boat. But I got to fix the biggest hole in the boat, right? The one that's taking on the most water, that's causing the most damage, that has the most potential to bring the whole thing down. The other ones, I'm not happy about them. But a Band-Aid might work, or just ignoring it for a little while, right? Because I got to fix this. And then I can go to the smaller stuff. And that's kind of that strategic, how big of an issue is this? Is it the biggest thing we got to fix? How much time and effort and resources will it take to fix it? And then you can decide how much and when attention you need to give.
I was talking to a youth worker who was here yesterday from APU. They had a class here, and he was telling me how his youth, he has like maybe 60 kids or so, and he has 11 volunteers, and I was like, "Wow, that's awesome!" So you got 11.
Can we borrow some? Please.
Where do they stay? But his issue was we have service, and I just kind of like give the message, and but I like what you guys do here, where the kids are like sectioned off. I just don't know how to get there, and I just said, what do you value most about what you see here? Is it that students are creating community amongst themselves? Is it, because there's a few areas that we're getting here. We're giving ownership to our leaders, so we're building their buy-in into our ministry. We're allowing students to actually answer the questions that are plaguing them, because you speak a message and you say, hey, Q&A, student's going to ask a question that you've already covered. So I said, so what do you value most, and then move towards that. And as simple as, for a lot of youth workers, and I would say even a lot of pastors, we do things on our own, and it's hard to give things away. But it's that if you gave your message, created a little breakout, 3 questions or whatever, give each of your leader those questions and say, hey, take a group of kids and go over it the next 10 minutes of the thing, and then see how that works. Nothing is long term. So don't never think you have to, like, if you want to do a post service, put 6 months on it. Say, hey, we're going to try this for 6 months. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't work, we throw it away. We never speak about it.
Don't say, God told me we must have a quality pre-service, right? Yeah. Because, I mean, unless God did, then you must have. Yeah. But sometimes to convince everybody, we're like, I've been praying about this forever. Yeah. And then it sucks. You're like, hey, on second thought, well, wait a second. I thought I've been praying about it forever. Well,
who did it?
Forever is relative. Yeah. I thought about it for a while.
Oh, yeah. Just, I mean, put a time on it.
Give it a shot. It works. Yeah. There's lots of ways to do it good.
Be strategic.
Yeah. Strategic. Is that what that's what we're getting at? All this rambling? Yeah. That's at the end of the day, be strategic.
20 minutes of rambling.
To get to that.
Be strategic.
All right. All right. If you want to subscribe.
Yes. Click that button.
What if they want iTunes?
Search us. Just go to iTunes and search Let's Talk Youth Ministry.
If you want to send us a question.
talkyouthministry@gmail.com.
Fantastic.
You can answer that. Okay. Or send it to that.
And if they want to go to the Simply One Day, go to simplyyouthministry.com.
Yes.
Click on the events button.
Yeah.
And sign up.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. All right. We'll see you guys.
Peace out.
Bye.